Hello and welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like it, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified whenever I post a new video, hit the bell icon. I see you're just sitting there. You haven't went to like the video or subscribe yet. Do it. Do it right now. It doesn't matter if you haven't seen the rest of the video. Hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you. You better have done it, or I'm coming for you. Hello, and welcome to What If Deku Was a Ghost Face? Part 1. So, where we would start. Deku would be about 3 years old, and he would be at a playground. Kacchan wouldn't be there because he would have recently came down with a cold. And Inko would be busy talking with some of the other moms a little ways away. So Deku was bored. He would be playing with his toys, and he would notice something. He would see a girl a little ways away, sitting in the tree line, appearing to be eating something. Deku was a bit intrigued because she wasn't sitting on a branch or anything, nor did she appear to have anyone around her. There was just her, sitting a good 100 feet away from the playground, eating, alone. And Deku would feel bad for her. And he would grab his toys with the intent to play with her, and would begin heading over there. But as he got stronger, the smell of blood would begin getting stronger. And each step he got, and each bit closer he got, the smell of blood and the smell of meat, just raw meat, got even stronger. He would get to the girl and would see she was eating a recently killed bird. Deku would be disgusted at first, but would be intrigued. As the girl would see him and would let off a huge grin, Deku could see the feathers and meat and blood all over her teeth. And he would sit down with his toys and he would say, "Hi, I'm Deku." Or Izuku. He would say Izuku, but it's a lot easier to say Deku, I guess. But he would introduce himself, and the girl would excitedly say, "I'm Toga. It's really nice to meet you. Normally people don't really like to talk to me because I'm weird, but that's just what they say. I don't think I'm weird. I mean, it's nice, right?" As Deku would say, "Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it." The girl would blush and would get really excited as she would ask Deku if he wanted some. Deku would be still disgusted, but he would decide to try some. She would tell him to lean his head back as she would put the bird over his head and the blood would drip into his mouth. Deku would like taste. He would find it better than anything he's had. He loved it, and he couldn't tell why. Deku would tell her how much he really liked it, and Toga would get even more excited, shrilling as she would say, "Really? Awesome!" as they both would begin to eat the bird. Inko would see that Deku wasn't at the playground anymore and would call out for Deku, starting to get worried. Deku would wipe off his face as he would say, "Well, it was nice meeting you. We should play again sometime." As Toga would say excitedly, "Yeah, I'm always around this area because I don't really have a lot of friends to hang out with, but if you ever want to hang out, I'll be here, Deku." As she would be smiling. Deku would grab his toys and would run towards his mom. Inko would notice a red around his mouth as she would ask what was over his mouth. Deku would reply, "Oh, my friend over there, she wanted me to try a bird, and it tasted really good." Inko would slap Deku, as she would tell him, "You don't eat birds, let alone enjoy doing it." She would grab Deku by the wrist and would begin pulling him to the car, telling him that he will never see that girl again. After this event, Deku would be heavily fixated on blood and death. Every chance he got, he would ask his mother, "Where do people go when they die? And what does it feel like to die?" Inko could never have an answer, and each time he asked her that, the more annoyed and disappointed she got with him. On Deku's 4th birthday, Inko would take Deku to the quirk doctor to get him examined, as he had shown no signs of having a quirk. Inko would walk in, and they would take Deku to the back to examine him. And when they got back, the quirk doctor would be horrified at what happened in there. Deku would stroll back over to his mom and would sit on a chair right next to her. The doctor would tell Inko that he doesn't have a quirk, but Inko would tell him, "Speak up, I don't have all day." As he would say, "Your son's a psychopath." As he would tell Inko and Deku to get out and never come back. Inko would be frustrated as she would grab Deku, who was smiling the widest grin she had ever seen, and bring him to the car, where she would then ask him, "What did you do to get us kicked out of the only pediatrician in a 10-mile radius? What did you do, Deku?" As he would say, "I stabbed the nurse." As Inko would go quiet. What did you do, Deku?" I stabbed the nurse. She was bending down and she was touching my knees and stuff, and I grabbed a scalpel that was in her pocket and I stabbed her in the neck. She bled a lot." Inko would be horrified, and the rest of the drive home was quiet. On Deku's 6th birthday, no one would end up coming. Bakugo would hate Deku 10 times more than he already did in the original continuity, due to his newfound lust towards blood and death in general. So Deku would be sitting outside as his mom would be arguing over the phone with who he presumed to be his dad. He would be looking at a tree when all of a sudden he would see a baby bird fall out of it. He would walk up to it. He would see it chirping and trying to get back up towards its mom that didn't notice it had fallen out yet. Deku would pick it up by the neck and it would pity the animal. So far, yet so close from home. As he would grab its head with his free hand and would twist the neck exorcist style. And then would put it in his mouth. The animal would be dead already. Twisting its head all the way around would have killed it instantly. But that wasn't enough for Deku. He wanted to make sure it was dead. He would then bite down on the animal's head, and the head would just come right off, as he would throw the body to the ground, and would begin gnawing on its head. The mother would finally realize that its baby had fallen from the nest, and would fly down to see its body, missing its head. It would begin pecking at it, and trying to get it to wake up, as Deku would spit out the head, which had been crunched and mauled. He would then grab the bird and would slam it against a tree, knocking it out. He would then bring it over to a wooden post and would nail its wings spread out, crucifying it. As he would grab the nest full of unborn chicks and would throw it on the ground, splashing the eggs everywhere. When the bird awoke, it would begin chirping and trying to flap out, but due to the fact that its wings were nailed down, it couldn't go anywhere. Deku would grab a sharp rock and would begin cutting open the bird. The bird would flap its wings and would begin chirping in immense pain. And once the incision was made, Deku would begin pulling out all of its guts and insides and eating them. Inko would get off of the phone and come outside to see Deku doing this. She would walk over to him and punch him, knocking him out. She would say, "You're such a disgrace, Deku. You should have never been born." As she would go inside. Deku would end up going about his life about normally, except for, of course, the fact that he is not normal. But there would be no notable events up until the last day of middle school. Deku would have applied for UA and would have been bullied by Bakugo for it. The same. And as he's walking home, he would be attacked by the sludge villain. The sludge villain would end up popping out of the crate, catching Deku off guard. The sludge villain would say, "Dang that All Might. He always has to interfere with everything." As he would see Deku, as he would say, "Ooh, you'll make a good hostage." As he would grab Deku. Deku would try and break free, but due to the sludge villain's very water-like basis and his good grip on Deku, he couldn't escape. The sludge villain would then begin trying to enter Deku's body. Deku would then let off a huge grin as he would think to himself, "Am I going to die? Am I going to see what death is like?" He would try and laugh, but his voice box was beginning to be filled up with sludge, liquid. That's when All Might would arrive, as he would see Deku about to be fully taken over by the sludge villain. And he would say, "Don't worry, I'm here." As he would go, "Detroit Smash!" and would hit the sludge villain as hard as he could, blowing the sludge villain into thousands of little sludge bits. Deku would fall onto the ground, coughing up sludge. As Deku would look up at All Might and would say, "That was my ticket to death. Why'd you have to ruin it?" All Might would be a bit caught off guard, but would say, Don't worry, I'm here. You're safe now, son." As Deku would stand up and would say, "Wait, All Might?" As All Might would be like, "Yes, it is me, All Might." Deku would begin fangirling, as he had not realized that it was All Might who had saved him, as he would ask All Might, "Can you sign your name in my notebook, please?" As All Might would say, "Look in your notebook." As Deku would look in his notebook and would find that All Might had already signed it. He would squeal as he would thank All Might nearly 1,000,000 times. All Might would say, "It's all in a day's work," as he would begin collecting the sludge. In this continuity, All Might would have a little more time as compared to before. He would collect all the sludge and would say, "Alright, I have to get out of here now. Thank you for distracting him for me." As Deku would say, Wait. I have a question for you. Everyone's always said that I can't be a hero. But I have to ask you, if I don't have a quirk, can I still be a hero?" All Might would sigh, as he would say, "No, you can't. Just become a police officer, or something like that. They help the people in wonderful ways that heroes can't. You would make a good police officer, but no. Just give up on your dreams, kid. You can't become a hero." As he would launch away, Deku would be incredibly saddened by this betrayal. He had idolized All Might for years and years, just to be backstabbed by him? To tell him that his dreams weren't worth following? Deku would laugh. And he would laugh, and he would laugh, and he would laugh. When Deku would get home, he would watch the All Might video. And he would watch it again. He would watch it again, thinking to himself how maybe if he had a quirk, he could be like that. Then his mind would shift to a different thought. Maybe I can be like that. Maybe All Might just doesn't want competition. Maybe heroes shouldn't exist in the first place. Humans were just fine without them before. So why, as soon as corks arrive, do people's lives start getting worse? Do people start dying more often? He's had enough. He would grab all of his All Might figures and All Might posters, and he would destroy them, grabbing a knife and slashing at the All Might faces on his walls. He would grab his sheets on his bed, and he would cut those up too. He would grab his All Might figures, and he would split them in half, and then throw them away. Deku was mad. All Might had shot down the only thing he had in this life. And that was hope. Hope that maybe one day that his dreams of becoming a hero would come true. All Might shot it down as if it was nothing. He would sit down and would decide that he wanted to watch something new. He would put on a movie that he had never seen before. And that movie was called Stab. Apparently, it was based on real events that took place in America. He needed to de-stress, and he thought a movie, and a horror movie, one of his favorite genres, that is, would be best to calm him down. He would begin watching, studying what the killers did. He would find it fascinating. The two killers working in harmony, never allowing their cover to be blown unless they wanted it to be. The perfect killing. He found it all too perfect. He wanted to be like them. He wanted to kill. Deku would turn off the movie, grab the only money he had, and would go to the store. And he would buy a stab mask, or a ghost face mask. And he would grab a voice changer. He would check out, and he would head back to his house. His mom was passed out drunk, as always. As Deku would grab a kitchen knife and would go outside. Ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring. His mom would pick up. What do you want? Can't you see that I'm busy? Hello there, Miss Inko. Inko would say in surprise, Oh, you know who I am, stalker. What do you want? Is it about my disappointment of a son? Deku would say, No, it's not. All I want to know is, what's your favorite scary movie? Inko would say, is this some stupid prank? I hate these, you know. If I find out who this is, I'll kill you. As Deku would say, Oh, I'm sorry, but I think you got the roles switched around. It's me who will be killing you. As a rock would go through Inko's window. Inko would scream as she would jump up, and she would say, What do you want? Money? Because I ain't got that. I don't have money. I don't have anything in this life. My son's a disappointment and psychopath. My husband walked out on me when I was nearly 9 months pregnant. I don't have anything. What do you want? As Deku would say, Revenge. As Deku would stab Inko in the back, and he would stab her again, and 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 again. Inko would fall onto a table, trying to get away from Deku. She would push the table out of the way, limping. Deku would say, "Oh, are you trying to run? It's so cute." As he would kick Inko into a wall, and then he would stab Inko in the neck, and then he would begin cutting right down her neck. He would make it to her chest, and he would continue cutting all the way down to her belly button. That's when he would stick his arm inside of her and would begin ripping out her intestines. Inko would begin drowning in her own blood, as Deku would wipe the blood from her intestines onto the mask and would take it off and would look her right in the eyes. "Are you proud of me, Mama?" As he would stab her in the eye to finish her off. He would grab her credit card and a few other valuables and would go out. His only goal was to make society pay. But first, he would need a duo.